Welcome again to the big match, and what excitement we've got in store for you again today. A really superb match is our main game, Orient against the second division leaders Brighton. We should keep to the theme at the top of the second division with Leicester City against promotion contenders Stoke City, and then round off the hour with a top game from the first division, the leaders Liverpool against cup finalists Arsenal. And there's more besides, exclusive pictures from Germany as we see Cologne's last game before their European Cup semi-final against Nottingham Forest on Wednesday. But first we go off to Leighton for the second division match between Orient, lying 7th in the table, and Brighton, the leaders, who need now to keep their nerve and form for just another month or so to see themselves in the first division. It was also a day that brought back a few memories.
Quite a Tottenham connection here today. Martin Chivers now at Brighton after spells at Norwich and in Switzerland, and so many good times before that at Tottenham, including the goals that won the League Cup final for Spurs at Wembley in 1971 against Aston Villa.
Beale. Chivers looking for it with his head. Gilsey, this must be a chance for Spurs as Neighbour goes in. Chivers! There it is, Martin Chivers! Hamilton to McMahon.
Now they are stopping and looking, and Spurs are attacking much quicker as Chivers now. Good control by Chivers. And he's done it again! Martin Chivers! Oh, what a goal by Chivers! Alan Mullery picked up the cup that year as captain of Tottenham, and now of course he's manager of the second division leaders here, Brighton, with Chivers of course now in his side, as I say. And in the opposition today, Ralph Coates, now of Orient, who also in his time at Tottenham won a League Cup final with the only goal against Norwich at Wembley in 1973.
And again Mike England's going forward, again a lower one. Chivers with the back heel. Now Mike England hoping to get in. Coates hoping to blast it in, and Coates has done it! Ralph Coates!
And alongside Ralph Coates for Orient, Ian Moores, another ex-Spur and Orient's top scorer this season with 11. So now the two teams. The Orient side first of all, and manager Jimmy Bloomfield is without defender Bobby Fischer, still injured. Henry Houghton takes his place, and Alan Whittle, formerly of Crystal Palace, is referred in the number 10 shirt, with Derek Clark moving down to sub. Meanwhile, the Brighton manager, Alan Mullery, makes a late change from the team that drew 0-0 at home against Notts County last week. They're again without skipper Brian Horton in the midfield, such an inspiration there, and striker Teddy Maybank, both suspended. But now he's decided that Peter Ward is named as substitute and is replaced by Malcolm Poskett at number 8. Ward is the sub, as I say. And the referee today is Geoffrey Bray from Leicestershire. And in the crowd, as you would expect, quite a good, strong contingent up from the south coast at Brighton. And Brighton kick off, attacking the goal to our right. Instantly there's a free kick in their favour for the foul by Joe Mayo, and if you're watching in black and white, I must apologise straight away for an apparent colour clash here. Brighton today wearing an all-yellow strip, Orient in white with those two red stripes down the front of their shirts, which might help you just a little. And Orient's white just that little bit brighter. But here's Martin Chivers with the famous long throw, apart from anything else. Almost effortless, as it always was at Tottenham, but a foul in that Orient penalty area, giving a free kick to Orient, who in fact have not lost a game on their home ground in the league since September. It's going to be quite a task for Brighton today, even though Brighton come here with a record of being unbeaten in their last 9. And quite a surprise to find that Peter Ward on the left there is the Brighton substitute today. Moores underneath this one, and challenged by Catlin. It's a very windy afternoon, gusting a little bit, and the pitch just a little bit puddeny after so much rain, but compared to what it was in the past in these days at Orient, when everything seemed to be postponed, it's in good nick. And here's Ryan going through all the way, brought down on the edge of the penalty area. right on the very edge. Brighton are claiming it's a penalty. They're arguing with the referee on the left of the picture there, but the referee, I'm sure, is absolutely right, as Ryan went through there, brought down right on the edge of the penalty area. Great arguing as to what exactly is going to happen here. O'Sullivan doing the ordering and playing it for Gary Williams, and it's charged down by Ian Moores for Orient. Grealish now number 4, unfairly charged off the ball by Chivers. And a good atmosphere here. Rollins. And a corner. Just a couple of times that Rollins seems to have been a little bit troubled by balls high in the air towards him. And I suppose the gusty breeze is not helping men judge the ball when they're high in the air. A corner then for Orient, which Bill Roffey is going to take. Ian Moores and Joe Mayo are up there. Henry Houghton's come up from the back. And Paul Went is up there too. Aimed in fact towards Went, who got a good header in there. Houghton getting a header in there. Mayo with a chance to turn on it and score. Joe Mayo. Well, Roffey's corner. Brighton in a bit of trouble and not really convincingly beginning to get that ball away. And Mayo was able to turn on it after Went's good header. And it went to the back of the net. Orient 1, Brighton 0. 7 minutes gone. Now Sayer. Clark, challenged hard by Whittle. Well, it's a test for Brighton now to stay on course and keep their nerve. Here's Clark. Well, the Brighton manager, Alan Mullery, in the glasses there, said he believes his side can still afford to lose 3 or 4 points in this run into the season and still get promoted. Mayo and Rollins, and Mayo certainly got the better of those opening clashes, and Mayo's header again. Coates is in there, and that really should have been number 2 with Brighton all over the place. And again, Orient winning a very good ball in the air. Joe Mayo it was, and Coates making a late charge and somehow managed to get the ball over the crossbar. Mark Lawrenson again for Brighton. Unfairly charged off the ball by Ian Moores. A free kick to the visitors. About 5 yards outside the Orient penalty area. A little less than that, perhaps. And John Jackson is lining up the wall and keeping a wary eye open, I imagine, for Andy Rollins, the big number 5, who's up on the far side. Gary Williams has also come up. Chivers too is one they'll have to watch for. Floated towards Rollins, in fact, and it's his header, but not quite the one he wanted. Williams ducking it back in there again, and Rollins almost had another go. And it's a goal kick. In fact, there was a suspicion of a handball there as that ball floated around that Orient penalty area. Went. Well, he could be putting his goalkeeper in trouble. Fisted away. Oh, what a good piece of goalkeeping. And a goal by Sayer, 1-1. Mullery is off his bench. And the relief. And the relief in the Brighton camp is there to be seen as well. And of course it was presented to them when Paul Went played that extraordinary ball back, which, here's Paul Went. He played that ball back. Jackson had to punch it away. And Clark had a shot that was beautifully saved by Jackson, but it fell for Sayer. And really it was a formality for the number 4, which makes it Orient 1, Brighton 1. Peter Sayer, the scorer, is 5th of the season. And here come Brighton again. O'Sullivan. Well, there's no opposition, so he might as well keep going, but then in the end he hits it straight against Grealish. Here's Ryan for Brighton. And a deflection, and a good save by Jackson. Ryan really looks as though he might cause some problems for Orient this afternoon, and he really went storming in there, hit a good shot, deflected on its way to Jackson, but Jackson wasn't in any way put off, got down well and turned it away. So here's Brighton's corner. Floated high again, too high for Rollins, Lawrenson, and now Ryan all the way through. Well, that might have gone anywhere. And he just wanted somebody to stick out a foot and give it a little poke, and I don't think John Jackson would have stood much of a chance. Free kick to Brighton. Chivers first away from his man, Paul Went, finding Catlin. Sayer again, hurdling past all the challenges, a good cross there, and a goal by Chivers, 2-1. And Alan Mullery off the bench again. The gamble of buying Chivers for £15,000 from Norwich and putting him in the side and keeping him there for the second successive week has paid off. Again, Sayer playing a big part in that move. And when the cross came in, Chivers was beautifully placed to meet it and put it past John Jackson for Orient 1, Brighton 2. Well, his first goal for his new club for Martin Chivers. Moores with the header. Here's Chidozie. Lawrenson cutting it out. It was a poor cross by Chidozie, and Brighton's confidence now is brimming all over this game as Lawrenson makes a great run and a good, honest, earthy shoulder charge there by Joe Mayo. I'm glad that the referee allowed that to go because that looked perfectly okay. Roffey finding Coates. And a shot, and a beautiful goal by Coates, 2-2. Well, he hasn't hit many better than that. Well, one old Spurs player, Martin Chivers, gets one at one end, and Ralph Coates with a tremendous shot, just nicking it off the underside of the crossbar, gets one at the other end. So, Orient 2, Brighton 2, and a game that really is alive now. Gray planting it forward towards Houghton, and Coates not quite able to stop Brighton getting possession with Sullivan here. Williams and Went. Chivers. Ryan. Come for Chivers, it'll come for Ryan, and a save again by John Jackson from this dangerous Irishman, Jerry Ryan. Jackson well behind it. Grealish there first, played a little bit short by Ralph Coates. Sullivan. A chance there for Brighton, and Ryan was marked just about tight enough by Houghton just to put him off and prevent him getting a free header. But there wasn't very much to spare there for Orient. Newton making a good, strong burst there, and Lawrenson, that's got to be a free kick. Lawrenson had to turn away from goal because Mayo got between him and the keeper. It'll be a free kick to Brighton. As the half-time whistle goes. Well, a good first half, very evenly divided. And still the Tottenham connection is here, with Coates having scored a really sparkling second goal for Orient. After Martin Chivers, in fact he's just going up the tunnel there now, the number 9, had scored the header that put Brighton into a 2-1 lead. The other goals in this first half coming from Peter Sayer for Brighton and Joe Mayo for Orient. So a lot to come on the big match this afternoon, and the prospect of a really good second half here, with so much hanging on this result, and a half-time score which is Orient 2, Brighton 2, and we'll be back with the second half. Welcome back to Brisbane Road, Orient, Leighton Stadium. 2-2, and Poskett looking to make it 3-2 for Brighton, and he might go all the way, and in fact, my word, what a sensational start to the second half that would have been. A goal in something like 5 seconds after the half-time whistle, or at least the start of the second half whistle had gone. A great run by Malcolm Poskett, really aggressive all the way. And in the end, a good save by John Jackson. Mayo. Retained possession well there. Here's Chidozie. Might not come for Roffey. And Whittle and Roffey were waiting there. It wasn't a good ball from Chidozie, and it's given Brighton possession now. And it's Clark going all the way through to score a beautiful goal. They're off the bench again, and Brighton are in the lead again. The ball really given away in the midfield there by Orient. And Brighton really pounced. And Clark, who really strikes you as being a powerful midfield fellow who does all the running, was through with a powerful shot that could beat John Jackson. Orient 2, Brighton 3. And Paul Clark the scorer. So here's Chidozie. Yes, a free kick, and I think quite correctly given there by the referee. Chidozie's feet were just taken from him, or partially taken from him as he went through. Grealish will take it for Orient. Towards Ian Moores. Lawrenson doing well in the air there for Brighton, and O'Sullivan getting it away, but Roffey's header back. Clark in there, great determination. Coates. Mayo. Whittle. Nicely played there for Coates. Sayers after him. Played for Roffey, calling for the cross. Mayo's backward header. Moores with his header! 3-3. Eric Steele not happy with it, or at least with the cover. But this amazing game has taken another turn as that ball came in from the left. Coates finding Roffey, and Roffey's cross was half. Well, it knocked against a Brighton player. My impression was Mayo was up there again, and it was Moores who forced it over. Orient 3, Brighton 3. Ian Moores, top scorer now with 12. Well, they've been up and down their bench all afternoon. One moment of joy and the next a moment of crisis. Grealish, long ball towards Ian Moores. Mayo just getting a touch. Very deceptive player. Looks as though he doesn't get a touch sometimes, and there he's having a bit of a dust-up there with Rollings, and it's a free kick to Orient. Obviously for something that Rollings did to Mayo, although Rollings is claiming that it wasn't all one way. What's happened is that they get a free kick, Orient. A pretty central position, just right of it, as you can see now. About 23 yards out. Now, will Ian Moores, number 8, have a crack at this one? Through the wall. Oh, my word, and Steele nearly lost it. Must have held up on that tacky surface a little bit as it came from Ian Moores through the wall, past it. And they were were plenty of Orient players waiting for a mistake to be made. And it was a poor ball again. O'Sullivan. Chivers, a lovely touch for Lawrence and all the way through. Well, Brighton felt they should have had a penalty there. The referee would have none of that. As the ball went through there, Lawrence played it forward, and it was almost into the arms of Jackson. He was tripped. Foskett. No foul. Roffey is poking it out here for Chidozie. Houghton's gone outside him. It's a ball played almost lazily there for Houghton, but it was beautifully weighted, except that Ryan was back there, and they could be in the most terrible trouble there. Jerry Ryan very nearly presenting Orient with another goal there, except that Brighton scrambled it away. Sayer. Good piece of defence though by Roffey. Oh, Sayer's beaten them all. And surely O'Sullivan. No, and he's missed it. Well, that really opened up for Peter O'Sullivan there. Particularly when they'd made such a good move down that right. And Grealish had lost the ball, and it was played back in there by Sayer. And O'Sullivan completely miscued. Roffey miscuing with that header. And a throw going to Orient. I think it's a free kick, yes. Roffey's free kick, hit high towards Mayo. Rollings winning it well in the air. Went just lifting it in here for Whittle. Can Whittle turn it back? Mayo's waiting for it. And in the end, it's Ryan who gets it away. Gray. Mayo in there, Moores, and great piece of keeping by Steele, but he's not out of the wood yet. Now he will be, as O'Sullivan gets it away. And Gray will turn it back to the goalkeeper at that end, while it was Eric Steele at the other end who did so well then when it looked as though Moores had been put through. He got a strong enough touch on it to keep it out. 2 weeks of suffering left for Alan Mullery. And Ryan getting that away well. Gray playing it forward, and a nice break from deep. They're onside if Chidozie can gather the ball. But Brighton are getting back so quickly themselves as well. Chidozie's going to have a problem getting it over, but he's got a corner. So one more little crisis for Brighton. Gary Williams at the post. With a minute to go. A corner for Orient. 3-3 the score. Roffey, the taker of that corner. Played in there and put behind for another corner. So these are worrying moments for the Brighton bench. Corner put away. And here's another one coming up now from Bill Roffey again. Hit in lower this time, nodded away by Chivers, but Roffey will get it onto his left foot with a chance to fling it in again, but the whistle has gone a few seconds early in point of fact. And Alan Mullery with a handshake for Jimmy Bloomfield. Nice little touch at the end of a hard-fought game as Alan Mullery applauds his players off the field. They fought hard for their point after going that goal down early on, but twice they were in the lead, and twice Orient came back at their throats, so that in the end I think we got the right result. Martin Chivers certainly enjoyed himself, his first goal for his new club. And Brighton, I think, in the end, would probably be pretty well satisfied with the point they've got. It was always going to be a difficult away game, but they acquitted themselves well. And with the Orient scorers, Mayo, Coates and Moores, with Sayer, Chivers and Clark replying for Brighton. A final scoreline then here at Orient is Orient 3, Brighton. Played for Roffey, calling for the cross. Mayo's backward header, Moores with his header! 3-3!
What a marvellous game it was. A pity that only 11,000 were there to see it, although Orient deserve and indeed should get a bigger crowd next Saturday when they're at home to West Ham. And incidentally, that's an all-ticket game. All the seats have already been sold, but there are plenty of standing tickets available. As I said at the start, it was quite a Spurs reunion out there yesterday, and afterwards I spoke to Alan Mullery, Martin Chivers and Ralph Coates. First to Ralph Coates, because indeed it must have been a game for him to remember.
I can't remember, I don't think, playing in a game as enjoyable as that one. You know, if...
Ever, you mean?
No, that's probably the best game I've ever played in. Most enjoyable anyway, and it went from end to end. First it was Brighton on top, then Orient, and it could have gone either way, even to the last few minutes.
Yes. Obviously your enjoyment was helped by the fact that you did something a bit special yourself.
Yes, unusually for me, I scored a goal. Was a bit special. I picked the ball up and hit it, and it went in with the help of the crossbar. And every goal's enjoyable, but a goal like that is a bit special. Yes.
That was probably as good a goal as you've scored for a long time as well.
It's the best goal I've ever scored, I think, not only for a long time, but I think the best ever, yes.
Even he would admit he hasn't scored one for a long time if he scored one at all like that.
Yes, he was saying you were a bit annoyed because you played with him all those years at Tottenham and he could never do that.
No, not such a great goal. I think, and it was on television as well. I think he'd buy himself a video machine.
Martin Chivers was a little bit like the old Chiv that we used to know 10 years ago. His goal was a superb goal. Brilliant effort.
Typical.
Martin Chivers, yes, because I was just talking to Jim Bloomfield and he said to me, I thought it was a great move buying Chiv, you know, for this sort of thing. Because if we'd have played Peter, Malcolm Poskett and Jerry Ryan today, we'd be lacking a certain amount of height and a certain amount of strength up front. And I think Chivers given that to us in the last two games.
All right, our second game today keeps us with that battle at the top of the second division, featuring Stoke City lying third at the start of the day, and their visit yesterday to Leicester. Now, Stoke had just lost 2 successive home games, so they really needed something from this one at Leicester, a game that was covered by ATV with the commentator Hugh Johns and Stoke City in the stripes.
Off to Scott. Crowd still buzzing with anger over that penalty decision, or non-penalty. That's Richardson. Oh! What a vicious looping drive by Paul Richardson, with really basically nothing on. And what was he, over 30 yards out? And he undercut that ball, put a lot of backspin on it. It dipped, and Wallington was in a great deal of difficulty putting it away for the corner. And the corner will be taken by Richardson himself. Kendall stretched wide for Richardson. Hoyt high, looking for a Gallagher, and he got up there. Busby, goal! No, that was Irvine. Well, he looked offside, did Sammy Irvine, but there was no flag, so it would have been all right. Corner, the header by Callaghan. The ball coming back to Randall, the chip, Irvine's header. Peak. It was a wild one by Richardson on Peak. The longer the game goes without Stoke scoring, the shorter their tempers are going to become, I think. They do need to win this one desperately. That's Henderson. Callaghan belts it out. Stayed back in defence now because Larry May has gone up into attack for Leicester. Peak has flicked to Kelly. To Goodwin. Good ball, Smith. They're putting it together, and there's Buchanan with the first goal of the game. No doubt about that. Dave Buchanan. Oh, what a simple and beautifully worked goal. And Stoke shouting at each other in real anger. Dave Buchanan, his 5th goal for this 16-year-old since he came into the side and scored against Oldham.
But let's give some praise to Goodwin for a beautiful run down the right side. And the chip into the box, and once in there, well, it was an easy job for Buchanan to score. Doyle. Off to Scott. Ball in to Doyle. Richardson on to O'Callaghan. Randall fighting to get there, O'Neill does. Richardson wants to take this throw in, and there's not a lot of time left. We're in the second minute of stoppage time now, the end of the first half. Randall across, and a header, yes! Busby got there. The first header was Tommy Doyle, but the killer one was Busby. Well, a dramatic goal in the dying seconds of this first half. 1-1. And when the ball floats across, Tommy Doyle is the man who is on target. I think it would have gone in the net anyway, but Busby runs across it, gets just a deflection, enough to count the goal for himself. Randall against O'Neill, and O'Neill had to play the ball. Corner, Richardson will take it. Leicester anxiously bring all the troops back, left Bobby Smith up in the centre circle, and everybody else clustered around Wallington in his goal. And a shot from Doyle, which was beautifully saved by Wallington. Oh, that was a bit special by Mark Wallington. Richardson's corner, flying deep across the penalty area. Doyle left-footed, bangs it first time. It was going in under the bar, and Wallington reaction save, up and flicked it over.
And it finished in a 1-1 draw, and I'd imagine that Stoke City were very grateful to get that point, because it really is so tight at the top of the second division still. Indeed, all the top contenders drew yesterday at a time when really it's important to come away from every game now at least with a point, except of course for Crystal Palace, who went down by that single goal defeat at Newcastle yesterday, and then with a goal right at the very end. There's bad news for West Ham, though, who face Luton Town at Upton Park tomorrow night, because West Ham at the moment, the news today is they've been decimated by injuries for that vital game tomorrow night. Trevor Brooking is still out with the ankle injury that's plagued him for the last couple of weeks. And yesterday, Frank Lampard also went off injured at Cambridge and was then followed by John McDowell, which meant that West Ham indeed played the second half of that game at Cambridge, where they got a 0-0 draw with 10 men. And Lampard, I gather, has got a bit of a chance of playing, but McDowell almost certainly will be out of tomorrow's game. And to add to West Ham's troubles, David Cross, their fine striker, injured an ankle near the end, and he is very doubtful for tomorrow night's game. And to make matters even worse, Billy Bonds, their inspiration really, and their captain, also took a knock. And it could be that West Ham will be without 5 key men for this key match tomorrow night. Well, it's an important night certainly for West Ham, but there's no shortage of really brilliant football coming up in the next 7 days or so. And not least the European Cup semi-final first leg, in which Nottingham Forest face the West German champions Cologne. And we can now bring you exclusive pictures of Cologne's performance yesterday when they were at home in the West German First Division to Schalke. Cologne here are in the white. Schalke near the bottom of the First Division table. Cologne themselves not in particularly good form, but showing a lot of positive action coming forward here. A great shot there, which is turned away by the keeper, Sandhofer. And indeed, Sandhofer in the Schalke goal was in a lot of good form early on. Schuster here with a free kick. It's headed in and beautifully saved again by Sandhofer. And then just 4 minutes from the end, Schalke got a shot goal that was disallowed. It looks just like Archie Gemmell going through the middle here for Schalke. And a nice little pass that's played here for Klaus Fischer. And although he gets it past Schumacher, the referee rules it out for offside. Klaus Fischer clearly very angry about that decision, and I think he's probably got a point. As the ball is played through to him there, you can see he is clearly in an onside position. He goes on, gets it past the keeper, And the goal is ruled out. Well, that's the way it goes when you're struggling with the bottom of the table as Schalke are. To make matters worse, Cologne went straight to the other end of the field and scored the only goal of the game. The defender, Zimmermann, whacking it into the back of the net, and there's a warning for Forest. The way that Cologne encouraged their defenders to come forward and link up with the attacks as Zimmermann did here. Beautifully taken shot, and even Peter Shilton would have been stretched to have kept that one out. In fact, Cologne went into that game yesterday without international players Kuhlmann, Neumann and, of course, Fleury, their best player. But I gather that all three are likely to be fit for that first leg game at the City Ground, Nottingham, on Wednesday night. Well, our last match today on the programme, that I hope you'll agree has been brimming with some pretty good action, is the top game from the First Division, Liverpool against Arsenal at Anfield. Just how would Liverpool react to that Cup semi-final defeat by Manchester United? Would Arsenal now stand in the way of Liverpool's march back to the First Division Championship? Well, more than 47,000 were at Anfield to find out, along with Granada's cameras and commentator Gerald Sinstadt. Liverpool here in the dark strip.
Dermot. Grealish took it so cleverly. Ray Kennedy couldn't quite get there, and Jennings just smothers it. But what marvellous skill again from Kenny Dalglish. Watch how he takes this on his chest and goes round his man in the same movement. Willie Young totally flummoxed. Jennings just holding it. Neil to Thompson. Dermot. Neil. Neil now up towards Dalglish, who was hoping that O'Leary would miss it. He was disappointed. Neil to try again. Now towards Ray Kennedy, who's jumped well. Dalglish was in, but so too was O'Leary. Jennings accepts that O'Leary did the right thing there. There's a good jump here by Ray Kennedy. Gets up well, and in goes Dalglish, and O'Leary couldn't wait for Jennings. And Kennedy. Ray Kennedy up again looking for it, but it was Young who headed out, and it's another corner. This time, it's as though Case will take it. Hansen, Dalglish, he's turned, couldn't get the shot in, nor could Johnson. Jennings blocked it, and blocked it again from Case, and it's a corner. Three of them in succession had a go there, as the corner came over from Case. Hansen's is the header, Dalglish turns now, but can't get any weight behind the shot. Johnson's is blocked, so too is Case's. Over it comes again, this time to Souness. Neil, good left foot, beating the crossbar by about a foot. Put away by Rice. Neil, not read by Ray Kennedy. Rice allowed to run. Wasn't really taking him anywhere. Thompson waited and picked him off. Case is away here. Chance for the shot, and it's in! In the end, the most direct of approaches paid off. Case picking it up just outside the centre circle, past the challenge, into the space, and letting the shot go under Jennings. Souness with the free kick, and headed out for a corner by Stapleton, when really he had plenty of time to control that ball. So an unexpected corner for Liverpool. Alan Kennedy. Crossing with the right foot onto Hansen's head, and Jennings making one of those saves which has so made him respected by the Liverpool cop. Alan Kennedy did very well here with the right foot, dropping this cross right on Hansen's head. The header is perfectly placed, and what a good save. Rice, Stapleton, Hansen steps in. Sunderland, back to Talbot. Ricks, with Walford taking the left touchline. And Ricks goes round Case and tries the shot, and he tested Clements. It was a very good shot. Ricks finding a very good left foot there after he'd gone round Jimmy Case. Just time to look, measure the angle and distance, and it brought out a good save from Clements. O'Leary, Steve Walford. Case, challenged by Ricks, but riding it. Now Neal, McDermott, Johnson to Souness, and just a touch, but Dalglish will score. In the end, Liverpool had too many men free, and Dalglish got the final touch. Case getting it inside to Neal, then McDermott, and Johnson, now Souness, and Jennings does very well here, but nobody to stop Dalglish. Alan Kennedy, Hansen, Thompson, now McDermott, Case, Souness. Slipping Talbot, could be number 3 here, but Dermot gets it. Made by Souness, finished by McDermott. A goal of classic simplicity. Once Case had given the ball to Souness and he had slipped Talbot. Talbot came really the wrong side of him. And then Souness is able to cut it back wide of Jennings, and McDermott finishes it off.
Well, both the goalkeepers in brilliant form there, Pat Jennings and Ray Clements, though we come to expect that, of course, these days. And I would have thought from what we saw there, Kenny Dalglish with some beautiful touches there, again staking a claim to be the Football Writers' Footballer of the Year. We shall see. At any rate, that's it, 3-0 to Liverpool, who stay firmly on top of the First Division, 4 points ahead of West Bromwich Albion, in fact, and Albion, though, have that important one game in hand. It could still be very tight there. And Forest are still in there, 6 points behind Liverpool. What's the point there, really, is that Liverpool have still to play a league game away to Nottingham Forest. Everton, I think, just about out of it now, having played those 35 games. And just look at the goal difference. Liverpool plus 55, if ever it comes to a crunch with more than one team on the same number of points, then clearly Liverpool, with that goal difference, would become champions. More football on ITV, though, on Wednesday night for you, when we shall bring you one of the night's outstanding games. That's at 10:30 on Wednesday night. On the programme today, though, we've had one of the goals that I suppose could take Brighton into the First Division. A goal that could take Stoke there as well next season. And if they do get there, then, of course, they've still got to find a way to cope with mighty Liverpool.
To Brighton. Chivers first away from his man, Paul Went, finding Catlin. Sayer again, hurdling past all the challenges. A good cross there, and a goal by Chivers. 2-1.
Randall across, on a header, yes, Busby got there.
Case is away here. Chance for the shot, and it's in!